Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Gifford's Rope Walk. I wanted to take a quick moment and give you a little overview. We have been using these spinners now for about 2 months. We used them for 5 weeks at the Arkansas Renaissance Fair, and then we took them up to Jonesboro and for their Renaissance Fair, and we're getting ready to go to Hot Springs in a couple weeks. So I've run into a couple things, and I just wanted to give you guys some feedback on how the spinners are doing. The first thing is one of the spinners, the first spinners I've ever made. I bought this particular design off online, and it has this cutaway in it so you can see the planetary gear. The handle's actually on the planetary gear, and it works sometimes. It looks good for a demonstration so people can see what's going on, and they can spin it a little bit. It does get stuck every now and then. I try to loosen these up just a little bit. It looks pretty, and you can see the gears going, and that's the important part. These little spacers also get in the way of my gears. Some of these things I need to loosen up. Some of them I need to tighten up. See this one right there. There we go. See, there's my problem right there. I just have these guys too loose. Having a model that people can see is a really good idea. I designed these ones so everything's encapsulated. I don't want anybody's fingers or hair or clothing or yarn to actually get in there. But this is really good to have just so folks can see what's happening. This has been a good hit. A lot of people have been enjoying it. I usually just have it sitting by the side, and then if somebody ever asks the question when they're looking at the gears, how does it, or the hooks, and they say, well, how's it work? And then I say, oh, let me show you, and I pull this out and show them. So I don't use this as a spinner. When I put a yarn on it, there's just too much tension, it locks up, but it looks good and it runs as a good demonstration model. So if you have one of those, that's a good idea. The second thing that I have run into is adaptability. Normally, the way that these hooks are connected to the T-nut, you have to go clockwise with them or they can unthread. A lot of my earlier models, I did not have any Loctite in them, but they've got this Loctite thread lock. Blue is semi-permanent, red is permanent. So I use the blue, and it does a really good job of locking onto the threads, and it won't come loose. So you don't have to necessarily go clockwise, which that's what's happened to one of these guys. Is clockwise typically works, but one of them started locking up on one of the gears, so we started going counterclockwise, and it was even smoother. So because I had the Loctite on the gears, that worked really good. These are made of wood, so take that into account. Certain types of day, hot and moisture and rain, sometimes they'll swell up a little bit. You got to be a little careful with them. And also pay attention to who's using them. There's a lot of patrons. This particular machine runs fairly smooth both directions. I'll have a dad be spinning it, and it'll be just smooth as butter because he understands it's a circle. And then we had a young boy, maybe 6, he grabbed it and he just started yanking and wasn't in a circular motion, and he ended up actually bending the handle frame right off the base. So almost every week I had to do a little bit of repair. We had one of the handles eventually one of the hooks did come loose, so I actually had to take off the screws, which is good because this whole thing just comes right apart. I had to re-Loctite one of these. As we were going, it would just lock up, and we didn't understand why. And then we noticed that the 3 hooks weren't in they weren't synchronized. One was off, and so as we were spinning, we were watching it. See, like right there, I just got stuck a little bit right there on that gear. That's the other thing is when you're going with the gear, sometimes folks go really slow, and that will cause the gears to catch as well. So we found a nice good steady speed, gets past those bumps. Okay, so we run into those issues. This one here is the one I had to reseat. I had to shift the handle a different direction. And this guy's getting really stuck, so I'm going to have to take this apart and look at it some more. I found my center bolt on this particular one wasn't lined up very good. So when my handle would turn, you can see how it shifts. And when it's shifting, the one gear is getting caught on the other one. So this one I'm going to have to redo a little bit, which takes me to my next gear that I just cut out this week, and I've got a new backer plate for it. This model, the one that we did step by step, had 24 teeth and had 6 teeth. This one, I saw some other models that had more teeth, and what it does is it gives you more contact. So rather than just having a single tooth pushing and pulling at a time, now there's 8 teeth, and this has 32. I use that same program, woodengears.co or .ca. I bought the program. It was like 20 bucks. And then I was able to create the width that I needed, the inner diameter to match the same plate, and I just did 32 by 8. So I still have the 4:1 ratio, and then I did a little wood burning on there for this particular model. Now this one, I took my time a little bit better when I cut the holes. You can see here there's holes all over this thing because I tried multiple different ways. And I typically have the threaded bolt with the hook on it on the ends. That's what I've been having. And I had a thought that I'm blacksmithing my troll crosses. Why not take a moment and blacksmith some hooks? So I actually did that this evening. I took some 1/4-inch iron and I heated it up and I put hooks on the end. And then on the other end, I was at Lowe's and I picked up a 1/4-inch tap and die set. And then I just threaded the end of the 1/4-inch rod. So that's really snug in there, which I think that'll help contain it a little bit. We'll have to test this and find out. But when I didn't have those hooks in there, I put the new back gear with the more teeth on there, and it ran a lot smoother. So this is attempt number 3,621, I don't know, of trying a different gear sight to see how it works comparative. So these guys have 24 and 6. This one has 32 and 8. It's got the hand forged hooks, and the other ones are still working except for this guy. I've got to take, and this one I'm going to try without the center bolt. The center bolt does okay. One of the recommendations from the guy that sold the original design was I put this gear inside of here, and I put 2 of the hooks, and I centered my gear, and I drilled those holes first, and then I took the 3rd one and I gave it a little, a millimeter of play, and then I drilled that one. These 2 I did on a measurement. I measured the exact distance from the center, measured them out, and I cut them. This one I did not. I put my outer gear in there before I put the backer on there, and I lined that 3rd one up, and I did lots of measurements. That good old adage, what is that? Measure twice, cut once. For me, it's like measure 10 times, cut 6 times, and then measure again. So we'll try it again. This one seems to work fairly smooth. I'm excited to get this out and test it and see how it spins. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on some feedback that my model is not perfect. Please test it. Feel free to change what you need to. Pay attention to who's using them. Keep an eye on your gears, the temperature, the wetness. They'll adjust, and they'll careful for those young kids that like to just yank and crank. And so we're excited. We've got one more Renaissance Fair coming up here in 2 weeks. We've got to do some more troll crosses. I've got some more hardware ordered, They seem to be going really good. Lots of jump ropes, lots of belts, and lots of sashes. Folks have been enjoying spinning them. We've had more people just talking about ropes and excited about the process that haven't bought them, but we just get to talk with folks. So we really enjoy being out there at the rope walk. Wanted to show you the latest model, what we're working on, and we hope if you guys have any questions, just shoot a message there on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll give you some feedback on this newest model and see how it fares out. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.